Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the charts to talk about why buying and holding at least 10,000 𝗕 might be one of the best financial decisions that you make for your portfolio. And as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. It's at this point in the video I think it's probably worth just pointing out that I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot give you financial advice. Everything in this video should be treated as educational and for entertainment purposes only. So let's jump right down into my thoughts and opinions on 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘𝗧𝗏. Okay, now for those who do not know, 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘𝗧𝗏 basically is artificial intelligence powered DeFi. Optimize your portfolio with Dynasets by 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘𝗧𝗏. Now essentially what this means is they are taking artificial intelligence from 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘, these guys, and they are basically using that artificial intelligence to trade baskets of cryptocurrency assets on your behalf. This basically supercharges your retail portfolio by using the power of artificial intelligence. Now, as I said, this all stems from 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘. 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘 is pioneering the future of AI in a decentralized way. We've spoken about 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘 pretty much since 2020. You'll see lots of interviews with Dr. 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀 on the channel, and even the CEO of 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀 𝗕𝗪𝗪 as well on the channel. So this hopefully wouldn't be anything new to you, but do some more fundamental research on 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘 and 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗀. I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. It's a big ecosystem. Not that this page seems to be loading. There we go. We can see a huge ecosystem from 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗀 with various different things that each kind of true to their own little part will play a much bigger role in the bigger ecosystem. So we have everything from 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗀 through to Hypercycle, which we recently did the private and seed sales in our Discord server through. And we also have 𝗬𝗏, we have 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀, which is coming out soon. We also have seen so many of these others in discussions. We've also had 𝗕𝗪𝗠. We did the private sale for that recently as well. And so there's a lot of different things, and each one of these projects that spin from 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗀 is unique, and they have unique purposes behind them. So do some more research on all of that if you are not so familiar. But we are going to be talking about 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗀 and more specifically 𝗕𝗪𝗀's token, or 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗀's token 𝗕𝗪, and we're going to jump into the charts for this. Okay, so what we're talking about here is why buying and holding might be a really good idea for that long-term prospect, right? So we're going to speculate on the price of 𝗕𝗪, where we think it's going to go, and why a 10,000 holding might actually be really, really good. So let's go ahead and just review where we were and where we are right now. So when this launched, it was back in 2021 here, according to KuCoin's data anyway. It's saying it's a little bit before that, but we can see here the dawn of time essentially just up here. Okay, and we had pulled back quite a bit. Now, this previous high, if I can snap it to that candle, there we go, was up there at $5.89. We came down to a low at 97.49% at 14.7 cents. Okay, so we came down really, really well, and we had some fantastic accumulation zones down here. Many of our community in our Discord server and our members on Patreon and YouTube were able to kind of dollar cost average some fantastic positions down at these lows. Then, of course, we started to see the AI narrative finally taking off. After 2 years of kind of really being invested in artificial intelligence-based projects like 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗀 and 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗀 and 𝗬𝗏, we finally saw a bit of a move to the upside. Now, we saw a lot more gains on 𝗖𝗢𝗪𝗀, and we saw a lot more gains on 𝗬𝗏 initially. However, I think people are sleeping and not fully understanding the artificial intelligence DeFi and the power of what that has for retail investors. And I think this thing is a sleeping giant just waiting to explode. So as we kind of think about this, their potential to the upside is rather vast. Now, we don't have a lot of data to kind of dissect here, but I'm kind of going on a limb here to think that we probably are going to be pushing up well above double digits in the next bullish cycle. We've seen the power of what goes on here once people start to understand what artificial intelligence can do with ChatGPT and all that kind of stuff. As I said, we can see this move here was 895%, and it was in a very short space of time. Okay, we're talking up here 35 days. days. I think given an entire bull market, you know, something that spans maybe a year, this is going to absolutely move mountains to the upside. I would be surprised if we do not see at least $15 in my humble opinion. Now, with that being said, I still think there's potential for dollar cost averaging opportunities, and I do think the bottom is in when it comes to 𝗕𝗏 at this point. I still think it's possible that we might retest these lows and come down a fraction lower, but at the moment, what we have data-wise available to us is indicating that we're on a strong low and a weak high. This is basically telling us we're unlikely to really go down lower than that 14.7 cent, and we're likely to push up higher than the current existing high, which obviously we'll just pull back down from. Now, with 𝗕𝗏 here, we have broken out of our structure, okay, for this, but I still think we got some good areas of accumulation to be had down here a little bit lower in price. Now, the good news is that we have our change of characterization. This is going from a bearish state to a bullish state. Okay, this happened up here on the 5th of February, and we can see that quite clearly in the charts. Now, it's not unusual when you see a change of characterization like this to come back down and retest the lower areas below this change of character. This is pretty normal. Okay, I'm not sure if I can find one on 𝗕𝗏's history here. I cannot. But here's actually a good example right over here. Let me just clear those out. Here we had a break of structure, okay? We broke the structure, we went up, and then we actually got that move to the downside, right? So we can see here, we didn't have this change of characterization until we got to this point on the right-hand side. Okay, so that wasn't there, and I can demonstrate this by using the replay mode. If I draw this replay mode in right here, okay, and I pull this across, and I just go across a couple of bars here. You can see how we had that break of structure right here. Okay, we had a strong high and a weak low at this point. Okay, we can see that we move up, we test those highs, and again, we still move that strong high. It's still a strong high because we have that break of structure to the downside, and we can still have that weak low. So we can see here that we broke upwards before we finally, with those crazy wicks as people were buying up some 𝗕𝗏, we can see that we start to break down, and we're going in a direction of that break of structure, right? So we don't want to rely on thinking about BOS and change of characterizations as a gospel for the direction that you're going in. It's an indication that the state of the market is bearish or the state of the market is bullish, right? Sometimes they get broken very quickly, and sometimes they stay in these states for quite some time. Now here, in the point of 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 is that we went up before we went down. Now, we have this bullish change of characterization on the 5th of February, as I was saying, and we can kind of see it right here. We had this change of characterization as we start to move on up. So we go from that bearish state to that bullish state. Okay, now it's not unusual that for us to kind of then come back down and drop down lower than this change of characterization. Okay, and that's where we are right now. Okay, we're pushing up again, but I still expect us to kind of come down a little bit lower. As you can see on the stochastics, we are, of course, really high on the overbought ranges. So we will be looking at coming back down. We've got a couple of these fair value gaps that, in my opinion, will need to be filled out, and then we'll continue that move to the upside. So I do think there's some fantastic opportunities to dollar cost average a little bit cheaper than where we are currently. Okay, so I do think they're going to be coming. Now, in terms of price appreciation and where I think 𝗕𝗏 could be going in the future, as I said, I'd be surprised if we don't hit at least $15. Now, there's no real rhythm and rhyme to this, other than the fact that the supply is incredibly small. There is not a lot of supply when it comes to 𝗕𝗏 tokens. So we have to consider that the supply and demand aspects could absolutely see 𝗕𝗏 pop massively to the upside. Okay, now, obviously, it's a sleeping giant in the way that not many people are fully aware that 𝗓𝗓𝗓 exists. That's one, and that it's using 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓's artificial intelligence to do trading on behalf of retail investors, and that's only just getting started. So I do think that that cat's going to come out of the bag, and we're going to start seeing a lot more retail investors looking at 𝗕𝗏 and jumping into that. And when we do, I think that's really where we start to see massive, massive spikes to the upside as demand increases and outpaces that of the supply, because the supply is very, very small. In fact, if I come over to CoinMarketCap and search for 𝗕𝗏, okay, 𝗓𝗓𝗓 right here, we can come in, we can see that there is in circulating supply 56,719,692 𝗕𝗏, 57% of the maximum supply, which is only 100 million. Now, if we put that into contrast with something else, like 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 has a max supply of 2 billion. Okay, and so when we start comparing, we can see that the supply element of 𝗓𝗓𝗓 is going to allow for a shrinkage and a tightness of that supply as demand increases, which will drive price because every price movement is really just backed by supply and demand metrics. So when we start thinking about that, we have that potential move to the upside. So as I said, I'd be surprised if it doesn't even reach like $15. I'd be shocked. But personally, I think this thing is going to absolutely soar, and therefore owning as much of that 100 million supply as possible, I think, is a reasonably smart idea, at least in my humble opinion. So let me know what your thoughts and opinions are down in the comments down below. Do you think that 𝗕𝗏 has the potential to go to 15, 20, 30, maybe even $50? Let me know. I'm really interested to kind of get people's thoughts and opinions on how high they think 𝗕𝗏 can go in a bullish market. I'm really interested to kind of canvas that. And if you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe. And don't forget to join us down in the Discord server, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out, guys? Until the next one, have a fantastic day.